Hello, everybody.
Hello. We are two as one.
I'm Andres.
And I'm Karin. Today we're going to talk about making a decision. So, one quote that comes to mind for me is the Martin Luther King. You don't have to see the whole staircase. You just have to take the first step.
I love this quote, and I can tell this quote changed my life. So, the first step doesn't bring you where you want to be, it gets you out where you are.
Yeah.
Decisions.
Mm.
Decisions.
How did that change your life?
Oh, well,
Maybe we'll get to that.
as I mentioned in another episode, I had to take the decision when I was in Ecuador to decide to come to move to United States. But thinking about it, you know, was very hard because I didn't know what was in my future, how that gonna work, and just the unknown about it holds me years to take the decision. And when I finally did, so the things ended working very well for us, for me, and was beautiful
Yeah.
future waiting for me
Right.
behind that decision,
Who would have known?
right?
And that part of getting out of where I am, that has what's truly, that really is a great quote that you shared, uh, has really, I think that's been a main motivator for me. Because I remember when I was in Denmark, I grew up in Denmark, started out here, grew up in Denmark, and then um, I, well, it's a beautiful country. It's wonderful in many ways. Personally, I do not like the weather, and and so, but there were a lot of things that I was in the middle of, and I think certain relationships had ended, and I just felt like I was in this no man's land, and I needed to do something, and I wanted to also see the world, and I was a U.S. citizen, so it's easy for me to come on over here, and yeah, so when I was 21, I packed my suitcases, had a little money in my pocket, and I bought a one-way ticket over here, and the rest is history. 35 years later.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
To me it was interesting. I have my kids in Ecuador, and then I had to was a serious decision that I had to think about it. And before I had the opportunity to be in this country a couple times, doing the tourist stuff, and for me 2 weeks was enough. I was the food, was the traffic, was everything. So, and in order to take the decision, I was thinking, if I can stay there for 2 weeks, how am I gonna handle to stay a longer period of time? So
Yeah. 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 But,
it's almost 15 years now.
yeah. But also, where were you on vacation when you were here back in
Well,
the day?
oh well, I visited. I was in New Jersey, New York, Florida.
Yeah. Where in Florida?
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, Disney.
Disney?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, I did all the Disney
I thought you were
stuff.
just in Miami. Oh,
No, I was in Miami. Yeah, when we came
talk about traffic.
to Orlando, and yeah, so Miami,
Oh,
Orlando,
oh, the Disney. Woo. Anyway,
right?
uh, good for you, Disney fans. Not a Disney fan here.
Not anymore,
Yeah,
that,
you got that out of your system.
right?
Anyway, so that part of how this fear holds so many people stuck in a very small place because of the fear of the unknown and because I've been hurt before and then expecting that that's going to happen again. It's like I can never live through another time where I was hurt like that. And um and when obviously with all these choices, always something that is something you can do, and at the same time there's also a lot of missing out on amazing beautiful opportunities
Oh
like
yeah,
you were talking about. I have never been as happy with my life in every area as I have been for the last 5 years. Guess what happened 5 years ago?
right.
It
A miracle.
was a miracle. Ecuador, Denmark, and yeah, all the things.
You know, if we see our personal experience, the things that
Right.
needed to happen in our personal lives in order to get us at this point in life when
Yeah,
we met each other, and that was that was a miracle.
it really is. It really is. And that's some of the things that, you know, personally my intention with this episode is to to explore, be open to explore. And I have a perfect example with a client of mine that I just finished up working with. I think I have one more visit with her before she, or was that, yeah, I think I have one more visit with her before she takes off into another state. But we are done working in the best possible way we could. And you just reminded me of her. um, and so this is somebody I worked with for about a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, and started off having a very small world, was very afraid of everything, and realized I need to do something because this is not the way I want to live my life. And we worked through a lot of her trauma, a lot of EMDR. I use a particular modality they call it EMDR. You can look it up. It's amazing, and that really helped release a lot of these blockages that that does happen, but in our central nervous system, in our brain, gets us into all these old knee-jerk reactions, whether it's anger or anxiety or panic attacks or depression or whatever. Many times the root cause of those are events that have happened in the past. Even if you think that I made peace with it, I forgave them, and this, that, and the other, that you may have on some layer, but there could definitely be some deeper layers that it we just know physiologically those events get stored in the body and in the brain on a cellular level, in your in the fascia of your body. Massage therapists will tell you the same thing. Long story short, here the last time that I met her, because one of the things that I work with her on, it's also a resource that we build, is to think, and this is something you can do for yourself as well. Think of a place, and it doesn't have to be a place that you've been to. Sometimes it's better that it's not a place you've been to, especially if, let's say, it's the beach, in Smyrna Beach, but you've been there many times with your partner. That's a toxic relationship, and you had, arguments there and whatnot. Now that space has been poisoned by those negative interactions there. So start with another fresh beach, one that you haven't been to. When you make up in your mind, maybe you find a picture or whatever, and then envision it, make it, really bring up all the senses. What are you smelling? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you feeling in your body with your physical senses? And dial that up as much as you can, and notice how that makes you feel. Usually you'll feel anything from feeling relaxed to feeling happy to feeling at peace and all the things. And for her, it was like a meadow, a beautiful meadow with some mountains in the background and a flowery meadow. And then I didn't know that she'd done this, but she found some pictures that represented what she saw in her mind. So she had that visual on her phone, and she actually had a couple of pictures that would circulate around, which was amazing. I love that she did that. And and now she's been wanting, her and her husband, they've been wanting to move out of state, go out west, somewhere where there are mountains and they could go hiking and all the things. And they have a dog, would love to have a house with a backyard because they live in an apartment. And what do you know? The husband gets a job. She works remote. She can work from wherever. The husband gets a job, a really great job, in a state where they have mountains, and they get this house that has a beautiful backyard. And at the end of the street, she found the picture. You wouldn't believe. She said, at the end of the street, she showed me the pictures that she had of her flower meadow that she thinks in her mind. And then she showed me the picture of the lake that's at the end of her street, which she said, it's not exactly like it, but if you look at it like that, it looks very much like it. And sure enough, when she showed, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. We were just ecstatic. I was ecstatic for her. She's ecstatic. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I've manifested all this stuff. Oh, because the first when she and her husband they were first talking about it, they were out for dinner, and he just happened to look up. And said, well, let me see what's available, as for in his field, and that job popped up, and she was right away. She just had the sense that's your job. You got it. And he was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's just see. And sure enough, he got that job. So it was just one after another. And then she also um, told me what she had. Oh, she had written out all the stuff that she wanted to manifest on the Lion Portal, which is August 8th. And she did that last year. This is January 2025. So she wrote all this out on August 8th, 2024. So in less than 6 months, she manifested all of this stuff.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Is the power of the our brain or minds,
Mm.
what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I love what she created, because at the end
Yeah.
we are the ones who create our reality. We it's always that I always emphasize, you are the captain, you are the one who's in control,
Yeah.
nobody else.
Yep.
So that's beautiful
And
example.
exactly. And she went from being afraid to go anywhere to now she cannot wait to get out there. And she's like, I feel like I've woken up. I've been asleep all these years. But what also had to happen was really she really had to release all that trauma, and that was done because once you do that you can try to cover up and you can try to muscle through and white knuckle through, but that's such a hard way to do it because there's still that fear in there. So really flushing that out, because it's kind of like what you're doing when you're doing EMDR. Flush it out, little neuroplasticity, some rewiring for out of the fear mode and into strength. And next thing you know, we're manifesting like crazy.
Right, this image just came through my mind, is like the spirit is a force that is ready to fly, but our fears are the chains
Yeah.
holding the spirit that is ready to, oh, just let me go.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a perfect, beautiful example. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Or like my former father-in-law, when he would drive, it was so funny. We would always see him when he was driving away. So he's driving, and the brake lights are on. He's literally driving with his brakes on because he never got away from driving with 2 feet from stick shift to manual. So so he was still driving, 1 foot on the pedal, 1 foot on the on the brakes. There you go. That's how
you
a lot of
know
people go through life.
we as a couple, I like to do prayers nearby the water, the beach, lake, whatever we can find a
Body of water.
place, a body with the water. I feel like the, the prayers go in the fastest way somehow with the water, and we saw many things that when we create, manifest things that we want to achieve, and our goals and situations, and we saw that many times in our personal lives, and it's
Yeah, yeah. That's another reason why I say the last 5 years with you, because it really, the part of coming together as two people, and this is actually something that has been scientifically proven. Lynn McTaggart in the book The Intention Experiment. And check that out if you're into reading this kind of stuff. She wrote one. There was some of the scientists who uh, came up, were able to measure, because it was scientifically, they were able to measure the difference between when a male female couple come together and they're really well synced together, and they together have certain intentions, just like what you were talking about, then the possibility is much higher in a measurable way of those intentions coming to fruition. Doesn't mean that you can't. You also can make changes when you're intentional, as measured by scientists, like they do uh, the heads and tail flip, and can you can a person go ahead and increase the possibility of one or the other? And yes, they can. And so together, you can make even more changes happen in a positive way.
Yeah, we can create an heaven on earth,
Heaven on Earth.
right?
Yeah, that's a book, another
It's
book.
possible. Yeah.
Dr. Bruce Lipton.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes, that's
Oh,
his
cool.
book. Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's the book that I was reading.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
And I had the immense pleasure to interview Dr. Bruce Lipton when I had my show, Voice now on Voice. What Voice America? My show was Shift Happens. It's actually still, I think, on the Apple, and the podcast thingy.
Yeah, it is. It is. We should to update that interview in this channel because that was fabulous. That
Yeah,
was beautiful. That
he's such a precious,
is. Oh
beautiful
my
soul.
God. It's a
Yeah,
very very humble
yeah,
human being. I
yeah,
love him. It's so
yeah, yeah.
so
So
incredible.
we talked also last episode about dating apps, and when I was posting that one on my Facebook page, I had quite a few people who responded. I was like, one person was like, oh yeah, that's where I met my husband. Nobody has time to go out and meet people otherwise. Another person was saying how they also met their spouse there, and then somebody else that I work with, I also did that was a one-time EMDR session because it was a very specific thing, and she's doing great. But she mentioned how, uh, yeah, she was so glad that she didn't chicken out because she met her husband that way, and now here they are, two beautiful, actually four beautiful children because they just had
Oh wow.
twins. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
So, in the people in our inner circle, couples that we know, they met in dating apps as well, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, I mean the statistics were 40% of the one statistic, that a couple of statistics that we looked at, between 30 and 40% of people who are in a partnership that met through a dating app. So the whole point again of stepping out, you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just need to take that first step, because when you step out, then the next step becomes visible. And and many times we hold, one of the reasons why we hold back, with that, those chains that are holding the soul back that just wants to soar, is is that a lot of it is not trusting self. Another thing is not trusting that I will be able to handle it because I was hurt before, right? And so because I was hurt before, and that was so painful, and I'm not saying that by taking a step out that you're not gonna, there's no guarantee. The only guarantee there is in life is that we're going to die one day.
Yeah.
But
True.
do you want to go out wishing that you had done more things? Because those are the regrets that people on their deathbed have. Is like, I wish I had, taken more risks. I wish that I had spent more time with loved ones. I wish I'd lived more.
Yeah, let me correct that. We gonna die. This body is gonna die,
Yeah,
but we are eternal beings.
our
We
soul.
gonna live forever. Our
Yeah.
soul, and it's scientific proven as well. So
Hmm.
that could be another episode.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of information about it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. Yes. So yes, that really is, uh, another thing. And this is how I go through life is, and I was just working with a couple yesterday, and the guy, he was like that too. Is that trust in taking the step out, and you're going to figure out what to do. There, either you can Google something, you can talk to people. There are people, you can, professional people, the friends and family. Now need to know who your friends and family are, if there's people that you should be asking questions. um, but really trust that you are okay. You're going to find out. I mean, even people who have ended up, homeless on the street. I was practically homeless for a few hours one time after I graduated with my bachelor's degree from UF over in Gainesville. And my then boyfriend, who was my first husband, he we were driving all of my stuff up to the place that with the other person that we were going to be roommates with, and had made arrangements to rent the house with him. And as we pull up with all of my stuff, freshly with my freshly minted bachelor degree, uh, and there's the guy and the owner of the house. They're out on the front lawn, shaking their head. No, 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 you can't come live here. And I was like, what? So what happened then was, yeah, that you know, he went ahead, my then boyfriend, he went ahead and contacted somebody else, another friend, and he actually lived in a duplex. He was dating the girl next door, and they had all had a conversation. They figured out, okay,
A
well,
lot of
how
drama there.
you go ahead and move in with me, and then you guys can rent this place, and then so long story short, yeah, there we were. So, whew, dodged a bullet there. You just never know.
Well, I was homeless for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That was not a pleasant experience.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. So all of that to say, with my business as a therapist, and going out on my own because I wanted to be there, have more control over my time as a mother of a young child. And it was some very, 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 very tough financial times. And then I stuck with it, stuck with it, stuck with it, stuck with it. And 2 years ago, we're going on 3 years now. I've found these couple of you know programs at Headway and ZocDoc, and ever since then, my practice has been amazing. So again, I stepped out in faith with my practice like 15 years ago, if not longer, and I stuck with it. And because my priority, my intent was to be there for my son. Speaking of sons,
Very nice. Very nice.
yes, speaking of sons,
Yeah.
hint, hint, wink, wink.
So we have a we're blended. We have a blended family, and a few months ago I have kind of a difficult interaction because my youngest son is 10 years old, and he had uh, a little bit difficult. It was a little bit difficult for him to interact with us as a couple, with my wife. And I remember having this conversation with him a few months ago, and I told him, I'm not asking you to love Karen, but you need to respect her as the same way as she respect you. And I want you to be you. I don't want you to be something that you don't want it. So if you can stay with us, interact with us, and just be you. I know he's funny. He like to make jokes. He's a happy child, and it's so beautiful. In the last few months, see how that interaction has changed and how much he enjoyed time with us, and he loved. And it was fun, funny yesterday. So we had cheeseburgers at home, homemade cheeseburgers, and he was walking around to the house with that t-shirt, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And my muscles, and went to Karen and David, Karen's son, 19 years old guy, and says, "Hey guys, can you see the muscles over here? Hey, check it out, my six pack." I love it. It was so fun, and I love how he is been him.
Yeah,
And I really love and makes me so happy as well.
yeah, yeah. And part of that, it is not easy to do, be blended. And you've been wonderful with David because 5 years ago he was 14, and and so you went right in and you interacted, and he likes you. He has a really good people meter there. So he quickly found out you're a good person, you're a good guy, and so you guys are great together. And for me, I'm not much. I love kids. They're wonderful. They're cute. I like to just kiss them and there you go. You take care of them now. I can like you from over here. I'm better also with the older ones. So a big part of it also is that he's getting to be 10, and it's like okay, I can deal with this. He's more of a person now than a little kid running around with a lot of energy. So it all helps. So we're we're blending. We're blending.
Yeah, was a process.
Yeah.
Was I believe I'm a true believer of respect.
Hmm.
If you respect the other person, that's gonna take you to the next level,
Yeah.
which is love, love
Absolutely.
and respect.
Absolutely. Yep. And on that note, pardon me. On that note, that's going to be what we're going to encourage you to do. So let us know what some of your maybe you stepped out into the unknown because you wanted to get out of something, or maybe you had something. What was your motivation? Was it to get out of something, or was it to move towards something? Or maybe both. How did it go? What were some challenges that you went through, and what did you do? What was your mindset to get through that? Also, I do have a book that helps you go through the process. Helps at the end of every chapter. There's some questions, some journaling that you can do to work through this process, and that's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and that right here. And subscribe, like, share if this
Let
is
us know what
something.
you think.
Yeah,
Share
that's a,
with us your experience with the rest of the group over here. We can grow together. And just think about this: as you climb the stairs, your vision it's gonna be bigger. You can have a better spectrum, a bigger picture of your future, or whatever goal do you have in life as you climb
it's so
the
funny you were
steps.
saying that because I was thinking about that as we were driving. We were had another business meeting somewhere in another town, and driving back, I remember I was looking at these apartment complexes, and I was remember thinking decades ago when I was driving by, I was like, wow, aren't they nice? Thinking about me living in there. And this was before I became a homeowner and all those things. And now that I've been a homeowner, I was like, yeah, I could never see myself. I grew up in an apartment for goodness sake. So and I always thought that was perfectly fine. And there it is perfectly fine. But now that I've experienced this, also with regards to money, I could never imagine having making what I make now. And now I look at my income like, wow, this is really cool. And I do appreciate all of it because that's another big thing. But it's just to go to say, now my thinking is way bigger than it was because now I've had the experience. It's a lot easier to see when you start having the experience, but you have to start somewhere, right? So, whatever.
Think big,
Yeah,
always.
yeah,
Think big because life's gonna give you more for that.
for sure, for sure. So go out there, shine your beautiful inner light, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Love you.